This Guy's Garage. Like and subscribe.
So my first question, I'll direct it to X Corp. Would you would you support an age restriction, so requiring parental approval for downloads of your app by children under the age of 16?
Thank you for the question. There are around the world a variety of different laws when it comes to consent and age restrictions. Sometimes they vary by state here in the United States. So we welcome, the opportunity to engage on any potential legislation.
So I'm just going to jump in there quickly, sir. This is a great opportunity for you to engage on if X Corp would support a restriction in the App Store for minors under the age of 16 when they're downloading your app to require parental consent. Would you support that?
So as you may imagine, X is not the platform of choice for teens. We do allow in the United States and Canada, with the exception of Quebec, which is over 14, the ability to use the service. So we leave the decision of whether to restrict on the App Store to the App Store.
Okay. Same question to Meta, please.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. Yes, we would support that kind of restriction. And if I may say, I think that would be an excellent way for policymakers to protect and address youth safety issues, as long as it's applied industry-wide.
The same question. Thank you for your response. The same question to Google, please.
So when you can put parental controls on an Android device. So that's one of the things that we've built in order to put families and caregivers in control of their experience. And that can restrict what content can be downloaded or purchased from Google Play on that particular device based on the maturity level and concerns, and putting this, families in control of the
Sorry, Ms.
that are
Patel.
Right for them.
The interpreters are having a problem because you are cutting in and out, Mr. Barrett. I'm going to stop your time here. I don't know. The test was fine. Okay, so we're going to. I'm going to go back to Mr. Barrett here, but we may have a problem, Ms. Patel. We'll see what the next answer brings. Go ahead.
Okay, Ms. Patel, I heard your response as that on Android Google devices that parents have the opportunity to set content moderation by age. Is that can you indicate if that's a correct summary of what you said?
Essentially, yes. So we have built tools so that parents can put controls on the devices and downloads for their. Okay,
thanks very much. My next question is to X Corp. I'm looking for. Do you have a list of instances which the government of Canada has requested that content be taken down on your platform by the government of Canada to X Corp?
I'll allow my colleague Josh to add. We do keep track of lawful requests for user information from governments. We don't have that information in front of us today, but yes, law enforcement do have a particular portal where they can make lawful requests for user data or potential content removal.
Okay, so
according to lawful order.
So before your colleague jumps in there, and if you can give a response in under 30 seconds, I'm looking for requests by government, not by police agencies. X, please.
Yes, we do track by government agency, and we would be able to provide you aggregate numbers of government requests from Canada for a set period, if 1 year, for example.
So if you're able to give us the last 5 years, if you're able to table that with the committee, can you also itemize it by the nature of the request? if you're providing a written submission to the committee. Is that something you'd be able to do, sir?
Yes, I'll have to explore that with my colleagues to make sure that we'll be able to get that granular enough to be able to be useful to the committee.
Is there a Canadian version of the Twitter files?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. The same question to Meta with respect to takedown requests by the government. Is that something that you keep track of? And if so, are you able to itemize the frequency and the nature of each occurrence? Is that something you'd be able to provide to the committee in writing, Ms. Curran?
Yeah, we can. So we respond to valid government requests in accordance with applicable law and our terms of service. Those requests are publicly disclosed in our Transparency Center, and we'd be happy to provide more detail on those to the committee.
Okay. Just very quickly, I only have 30 seconds left, so I have 15 seconds. Ms. Patel, is that something that that Google would be able to do?
Yes, absolutely. We publish every 6 months a transparency report with government removal requests, and we'd be happy to provide that information to the committee.
Well, thank you very much. I have about 10 seconds left, and Chair, I hope we're going to have the opportunity for another round of questions with Ms. Vecchio. She wants to look into the protection of minors from exposure to sexually explicit material online, particularly, I would say, including links to the online crime scene that is Pornhub. So just a flag for all of you to expect some questions. I'm keenly interested, though, in what steps each of your platforms are taking to prevent the transmission or display of sexually exploitive material, sometimes referred to as child pornography, on your platforms. I think that the prevalence of sexually explicit materials in and of itself, and what you're doing, each of your respective platforms are doing with respect to age verification, is one issue. This is a separate issue from that. So, if you could each take about 45 seconds, we'll start with the same order that I went through last time with X Corp, to say what active steps are you taking to prevent the facilitation or distribution of sexually exploitive materials of minors on your platform? Starting with X, please.
Thank you for the question. So child sexual exploitation has no place on X, and we're working to make it the most inhospitable place for people that want to distribute child sexual abuse materials. Over the last year, we've been more aggressive in our enforcement of such material on the service, restricting the search for this material, increasing our training for agents to make reports to the cyber tip line, automating our process for reporting to the cyber tip line for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in the United States, which acts as a clearinghouse globally for tip lines in different jurisdictions. We recently announced a product partnership with Thorn to enhance our detection capabilities. So we're doing a lot in this space. The work continues, but this has zero purpose on our platform.
Same question to Meta, please.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. We lead the industry in this space. I'm really proud of our work on this front. It's so important. We've developed new technologies to keep this abhorrent abuse off our platforms. In fact, we've removed more than 34 million pieces of child exploitation content from Facebook and Instagram in Q4 of 2022, over 98% of which was detected before it was reported. And we use a combination of technology and behavior signals to detect and prevent grooming, child grooming, or potentially inappropriate interactions between minors and adults. We also help law enforcement find and prosecute the criminals who commit these heinous acts, including by responding to requests for information from law enforcement, providing instructional guidelines and trainings, and supporting the development of a case management tool for the National Center on Child Exploitation's cyber tips. We've also built long-standing partnerships with anti-trafficking experts and child safety organizations, including organizations like One Child in Canada, to help protect kids, including, other organizations include Thorn, Polaris, Stop the Traffic. And look, I would say this, although we are doing industry-leading work, our work is never done here. It's a highly adversarial space. We know there are a lot of bad actors there, online and offline, and we're going to prioritize our work to protect vulnerable kids.
I appreciate your answer. Thank you. I have 45 seconds remaining to Google with the same question, please.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to this, because there's nothing more important than keeping children safe. And, at Google and at YouTube, one of the things that we do, so in addition to many of the work, the similar activities as the other platforms in detecting and removing this content, we also are leaders in providing hashes of that content to NCMEC, so that, and then freely providing those hashes to other platforms, so that this content cannot be recirculated on other platforms. And we work with law enforcement to ensure that perpetrators are prosecuted where possible, and as appropriate. So we are very focused on not allowing this content on YouTube. And the final thing I'll say on that is that when you look at our policy, our community guidelines around nudity and sexually explicit content, you'll notice that in fact it's written in such a way that content that is intended for sexual gratification is prohibited on YouTube, and that allows us that is informed by our work with external experts in this case.
Thank you, Ms. Patel.